Welcome into this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio this afternoon, just after 1 o'clock as we hit the record button today. Ole Miss, as everybody expected, goes into Columbia, Missouri, knocks off the Tigers to sweep the season series. Ole Miss, since Missouri joined the SEC, 15-3 against the Tigers in those 18 games. Missouri coming into the league is a basketball school that hasn't really materialized in and of itself. So we'll talk about that a good bit today. There's probably something baseball related. They play Arkansas State today at 4 o'clock. Podcast obviously will.
Is that game on television?
Yeah, I think you said CBS 2:30. I wasn't sure if it was that or FS1, but either way, it's on. You'll be able to find it. Jefferson Pilot will carry it on Friday. It's all good. Yeah.
It's the JP game.
It's the Daves. Was it Dave, Neal, and what's the other guy's name? What was the other Dave?
Dave Rowe, Dave Neal.
That's right. Yeah.
Dave Neal last night, we talked about it on G-Pits, he and Damian Fishback, and I like Dave, nice dude, and I like Fish, nice guy. And I grant that covering a game from your home
is difficult, different at least.
A challenge.
Sure.
I've never done it, so before anybody goes, well, you'd be hard. You're right. But they were talking about Missouri as a Final Four team.
Oh.
And I'm sitting there watching a game as Missouri's losing to Ole Miss. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. If Missouri loses, they'll be 7-7 in the league. Their net's going to be in the 40s.
They're more on the bubble than they are anything else at this point.
I think they're okay. But Final Four? It's like, we're trying too hard.
You only got two spots because two of them's already decided. Nobody's beaten Gonzaga and Baylor for a while, I don't think. It's going to take an upset to get one of them.
We're trying too hard with this SEC network thing. And
now they're encouraged to be a little positive.
I understand that. I just think it's one thing. You can do it with football.
Well, you're lying to people.
You can do it with football because the SEC champ wins the football championship 8 times out of 10.
Yeah, sure.
You can do it with baseball right now where the whole damn league's ranked in the top 5.
Yeah. But basketball.
And you can do it in some other stuff. I mean, you can go, hey, I tell you what, the SEC dominates the hell out of some track and field.
Yeah.
Yep.
They do.
But when you do the basketball thing, it's really disingenuous. And I get you got 2 hours of airtime to fill. And I like Kwanzaa. And I like the Missouri team. They seem like a team full of nice kids. I mean, I've watched them 7 or 8 times this year. And they've won a couple of nice games. That's the reason that they're probably getting in the tournament. They've got a couple of non-con wins that Ole Miss doesn't have, for example. But I've never once watched Missouri and went, that's a Final Four team. Not one time.
No. I'll tell you before we get down the topic that we are coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio, and it's the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Sorry, got a little carried away there. Download the Speed Pass Plus app. Take advantage of that, earn some points, and save some money there at the Oxford Exxon. You're coming in town this weekend for Ole Miss and UCF. If you're one of the lucky 2,200 in attendance, you can stop on into the Blue Sky, maybe get a lunch special, fill up with fuel, and more there at the Oxford Exxon. Again, we are in the not frigid. We're just in the Clark Ford Studio. Somebody asking about temperature. I've got a baseball game, and I've been around the block a time or two. I don't care that it's 71 degrees outside. I need a sleeve here in a couple hours, so that is why I currently have a sleeve on.
I've got a sleeve on because I haven't been outside yet.
It's hot. It's 70 degrees.
Yeah.
And
I'll get out at some point.
But at 8 o'clock, when I walk back to my car tonight, leaving that stadium, it's going to be in the 50s.
Yeah.
So that's why.
I've just been up. No, Gabe's not mad. Gabe's a lot like me, Lawrence.
He wasn't mad. He was frustrated at the coverage because they were idiots. I was reading his post-game thoughts, and he was beating his head against the wall because they were bragging on players who sucked, and then players who they needed. It was just they had no idea what they were talking about. Apparently, Fish had a really poor game from an analyst.
He had a really bad game.
Yeah,
and it's like he knew it because he would every so often go, ha 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 ha. It's like it's not that funny, man. I mean, it's a basketball game. Relax. It's 2 kind of middle-of-the-road SEC teams that you could – and we'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah.
Anyway. Clark Ford Studios, Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. I talked to Corey last night. 662-257-1900, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Ask Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. Again, 662-257-1900. Guests will join us on the Rafters Music and Food hotline. Rafters Music and Food in Oxford, right there off the square. Be a great place to hang out this weekend. Hopefully, we're going to start seeing some restrictions lifted, but they're not getting lifted this weekend. So if you want to watch Ole Miss UCF baseball, you might have to do it from Rafters, which would be a great place to do it. You know why? They have lots of great food there, burgers, po' boys, lots of appetizers, great beer selection, full bar, the whole deal. So enjoy a weekend. It might be a little bit of a rainy weekend for that matter, too.
Big time.
So it might be one of those weekends where you're a little glad you're not getting in and out of rain delays and such. You can just stay there and enjoy the comfort. Watch Ole Miss Vanderbilt 2:30 on Saturday. That game on the 2:30 on the SEC Network, not CBS. And you can watch that at Rafters. Also, don't forget Rafters in New Albany.
We'll say this one time, all jokes aside, for anybody who's been under a rock the last 7 years, all Ole Miss home games are on the SEC Network streaming service.
No, that's just not going to do.
They're all on SEC Network Plus. They're all there,
Nope.
Every damn single one of them.
Nope.
Every SEC program in the conference.
Just for that, I'm going to ask the question. On the
They
message board.
all are on SEC Network Plus every time, without fail. You are done with Flow Sports for the season unless some road team has it at some point, like La Tech or something. I don't know. But otherwise, you're all good.
And I'm going to take up for my boys at Louisiana Tech for just a minute.
Over the jerseys?
They've been listen. I mean,
He gets gear over here, and now we're getting a complex.
I know,
That's what's happening.
I hadn't even worn my gear on the show yet. Tech sent me a bunch of gear.
Was any of it powder?
No.
No?
Wait.
That was Royal.
No, there was Royal.
It was Royal.
The emblem on one of the caps was powder.
Was it?
Yeah. But Tech has always sort of embraced the powder blue.
Well, the Lady Texters back in the day wore a lot of powder.
Well, they wore exclusively powder.
And they were good.
Yeah, the men's team has worn some powder.
Yeah.
Powder's been a part of the Louisiana Tech lexicon.
What
for a
made
while.
it look like the ripoff was the way the script went under the lettering, and it did the same little twirl thing at the end. Like, they looked like they just took the font and kept it and wrote Tech out.
But they're Adidas.
They were Adidas, yeah.
Yeah.
They looked okay. It was fine.
It was a good suit.
Do you like the neck outlines where the stripes are on like the neck and the collar?
It doesn't bother me.
Okay. It was fine. It was all right.
I'm generally a proponent of the powder blue. I've angered a lot of diehard Cub fans by saying I think the Cubs should go to the powder blue as their road suit.
Oh.
Used to wear it.
Somebody mocked it up. I saw it on the internet last night. And obviously this hasn't happened, or we just don't know what the jersey looks like. They took the powder Ole Miss concept, but just turned the powder gray and showed what that would look like as a gray suit. It looks really good. It was even with the red, right? Because typically you put navy for the more dull kind of tones, but even the red script looked pretty good on a gray jersey.
The Phillies have great red uniforms.
They do.
The gray with the red.
Yeah,
fantastic looking uniform.
Yeah, it was good.
You can do it.
Wear the red hat with the script. And,
Sure.
I mean, the UM interlocking. And
Of course. People have worn gray for decades. You can pull gray off and make it look good.
well, it's easy to pull off. Screwing it up is the thing.
Yeah. Don't try so hard with gussets and stuff. Just keep it simple.
The Nike underarm thing.
Unforgivable.
That's the problem with the jersey.
Well, that's like after you blow something up going, hey, the car was really good before we blew it up. No, the car's blown up. The car's no good anymore. When you put the gusset underneath the jersey, you ruin the whole uniform, and the uniform from that point forward sucks.
They wear it a little bit, but either Mike or the pitchers, to their credit, go, nah, that's bad, because they don't wear it near how they could if it was just a part of their uniforms that they would wear. I mean, they were on the road all weekend and didn't take a gray with them.
Well, they know it's bad.
So, because they did, on Thursday night, they took BP in the gray pants.
Okay.
But that was it. Like, that was all.
You can wear the red top with the gray pant.
Their batting practice suit is actually pretty good.
It's nice.
It's not bad with the interlock on it, on the chest.
I know.
It's okay.
No, it's fine.
I like it better than the new navy. I actually don't love the new Vapor Lock navy.
With the huge numbers on the back.
I don't like the no names for whatever reason. I feel like when you have the solid color, you should go ahead and put the names on it. Something about the names not being on the back is the deal.
I feel sorry for the announcers.
Without the names?
Yeah.
Well, that was the problem with Flow. That was the.
Well, that wasn't
I
it.
forgive them.
That wasn't it. But I feel sorry for like SEC announcers when you.
Let me see who's.
It helps to have the name on the back as a refresher because you do your homework, but you're not just focused in on Ole Miss games.
Well, no, it's hard. I mean, even I have to kind of occasionally go, okay, who? Especially when they change numbers now. Like Diamond is 2 now, not 16 or whatever it was last year. And
yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, I haven't actually canceled Flow Sports yet. I guess I should do that today or tomorrow. I get a month though, whatever motocross or whatever else I want to watch.
I was going to say, what are they doing this weekend?
Well, it kept buffering on me one of the days, and it would switch me to a different baseball game. I was watching like Colgate and Northeastern or somebody for a little while, and then you kind of would get it back. You'd have to get out and come back in.
You might be one of the 5 people in the world who would watch that.
Oh, that's that guy that did so and so. That's awesome. Arkansas State tonight. They're playing their first game. I don't know. They're throwing some dude who had an ADRA in limited work last year. Beats me. I know nothing about them. They're typically mediocre. They're never terrible, but they're never really good either. I don't even know if the coach is there anymore. I'm not sure. What's Tommy Raffo? I don't know if he's still there or not. You're not up on your Sun Belt head coaches.
I am not.
And then Ole Miss plays UCF this weekend, who has been giving up a crap ton of runs. They are 1-3 on the season. They lost 12-6 to FAU, 20-15 to FAU. They beat FAU 15-6, and then Stetson, the Hatters, last night beat them 7-0. So that is that's your rundown there.
It's gonna be a long weekend.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be a long weekend for everybody because of the rain.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard to get those in. However, yes, when you've allowed that amount of runs, it's probably not a good situation this weekend as they're coming in. Kind of like when you can't score and then you got to hit Nikhazy, Hoagland, and Diamond over the weekend. It poses a bit of an issue.
It's a daunting task.
I mean, we're going to move on to basketball. I just kind of had this one thought. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. The more I've thought about Diamond's outing, coming into the year, I've thought, yeah, he was good as a freshman, but I kind of want to see something. You saw that Friday night type of stuff on Monday where it's like, no, that's real. Like Mike probably knows what he's doing on the mound next year, at least from that standpoint.
Yeah, I know you could argue he's got the best stuff.
You could. I mean, when you know.
Maybe him or Hoagland. And
he's got the hardest fastball, so slider wasn't bad. Yeah, Tommy Raffo's still the head coach of Arkansas State.
How about that?
Anyway, okay. That's all. Basketball. Ole Miss 60, Missouri 53 last night. Rebels had a pretty good lead up at 9 at the half. They were
up 11 and then it disappeared.
Missouri went on a 15-2 run? Is that what it was?
Something like that. I thought Jarkel made a bucket just to stem the tide, to stop the bleeding that was kind of big, felt big at the time. And then from
his only bucket of the game.
Yeah, and then from that point forward, it was just kind of this slog, and then it got to 50-50, and give Ole Miss a ton of credit. The last 2.5 minutes, they played great defense. Missouri did not play particularly good offense.
Yeah, Missouri was 2 of their last 14, something like that.
Yeah, and Ole Miss defended it really well. It's a win. Style points don't matter.
It's a single elimination tournament, and you advance to the next round.
And so it's a win. It's a quad 1 win. Now, it erased a quad 1 win because now the win over Missouri at home is no longer a quad 1 win.
And they're not getting back into the top 30, so that's not going to be a quad 1 win.
No, it's not.
Now, this one is safe. Top 75, you're golden. The Tigers can't screw that up.
No, you got that one in your pocket. You go to Vanderbilt on Saturday, and you have to win. And if you beat Vanderbilt on Saturday, you come home and you play Kentucky, and you've got to beat Kentucky. And if you do, and this is where I get different than a lot of other people, because I looked at it this morning because I knew we would do this show. I knew I would start getting these questions, and so I was trying to get myself quasi-educated with it. Now, I had it on this computer here, and Caroline has taken the computer, so I'm going to sound less. I'm going to sound less educated than I am. Ole Miss's RPI this morning was 59, I believe.
I have it up right now. They are sitting at 59, yes. Up 3 spots from yesterday.
A win over Vandy, probably going to raise them a point or two. A win over Kentucky, whose RPI is kind of jumping, is going to raise them a little bit. They're going to get, if they win 2 more games, I think into the low 50s. If they play a makeup game on March 6th.
Likely Carolina.
And it looks like it's probably going to be South Carolina at home, which will sort of have a neutral impact on their net, assuming they win.
Sure.
A loss, and it's just forget it. But if you win, I actually think they go to Nashville all over the middle of the bubble. If you look at the
okay.
If you look at the other teams around them, those other teams have to play games too between now and then, unless it's the Big 12, which is going to fix their schedule so that nobody has to play anybody and they get everybody in the tournament.
Oh, really?
A little bit. If you get to the tournament and you probably just win 1 at that point, you're probably okay. Because of the way, if you look at the teams, what I did was I studied the teams from about 42 down to about 65.
Okay.
There are losses all in there for those teams. And then if you subscribe to my theory, and it's not my theory, it's a theory I've been told by other people, which is the committee's going to take a bunch of big-name teams. And Ole Miss is a big-name team because they're in the SEC. They're going to take Power 5 teams if there's even a gamble. They're okay. If they don't get in, Ole Miss is going to look back on
Georgia
4
twice.
games. Georgia twice,
Florida.
the loss at Florida, and the loss to State at home and go, well, we did it to ourselves. The loss to Wichita State where they had the game won. The loss at Dayton where they had a shot to really win that day. But, yeah, someone says, we got to win out. Yeah, you pretty much have to win out.
Virginia Tech last night lost at home to Georgia Tech, and their RPI, their net dropped 14 spots off 1 loss last night to Georgia Tech.
Well, home losses are devastating.
Yeah. And Tech's net was 36.
Ole Miss has to beat Vanderbilt. Ole Miss has to beat Kentucky. And if you play South Carolina, you have to beat South Carolina.
Is Kentucky back on the bubble? 64.
They're closing in on the
But they're
committee.
8-13.
They're closing in on the committee being able to go, well, look at where Duke is. Duke's right there with Missouri. I think Missouri fell to 45 and Duke's 46. Is that right?
47 and 48 this morning.
Okay.
But yes.
But
Duke is at least 11 and 8. I mean, Kentucky is 8-13, and I get they played a tough schedule, whatever. But they're 8-13. 8-13. In a normal year, they wouldn't be eligible.
Who do you want on? If you're
I get it. I understand.
If you're Turner, who do you want? You want Kentucky?
I know.
Because if I'm Turner, I want Kentucky.
Well, because around Kentucky in the net, if you got to take one of these, the 4 teams around them are Belmont, Wright State, and Toledo.
Who you want? You want Wright State or you want Kentucky? Let me let you in on something.
They want Kentucky.
They want Kentucky.
8-13.
I know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's why the one thing I'm saying, and you know me, I've never wanted to tease content if there's nothing to tease. I don't know what, and I asked Kermit this the other day, and I got a great answer. I said, hey, in a normal year, you'd sort of know what you were looking for. In this year, do you know what you're looking for? And he said, no. I wish I could give you a better answer. I was like, well, you gave me a good answer because you don't know. Admitting you don't know is a good answer. They don't really know what metric they're looking at.
Sure.
What's the committee going to do? This is not a normal year.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to take teams that might have COVID stuff. Where suddenly your tournament gets screwed and you lose games. And how do you manage that if a team is scheduled to play on Friday in the NCAA tournament and on Friday morning 3 guys test positive? Do you forfeit? Do you postpone the game 2 weeks? Do you bring in another team? It's a basketball tournament. What do you do? So I guarantee you they're going to want – see, when you start thinking about it, they're going to want steady teams in. They're going to want dependable teams to show up and play the game so that you can put the game on the screen and collect the money.
Oh, look, Power 5, conferences with good testing. Frankly, teams who have a reputation for showing up and playing and don't freak out over some things.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll You know what I mean? There's some basketball teams that anything is like, no, for the hell with that. You can't have that.
There's
happen.
a difference between Kentucky and Vanderbilt this year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Texas A&M.
Yeah, what in the world?
I almost said something. I'm so glad I didn't.
Almost.
Oh, yeah, it was right there.
Had I not spoken, was it coming out? Did I stop it?
Yeah, it was on the tip of my tongue, and now I backed it up to the middle. Okay. It was just right here. It was like boom. It was just.
Yeah. Oh God! All right, we'll give him a second. See if he would like to spill it here in a minute.
No. It would get back, and then I'd get yelled at.
Northeast Spark, nespark.com. Service people across rural communities. 2 packages: the Ignite for 100 Mbps, or the Blaze. That's 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. nespark.com. NESPARC 662-238-3159. Phone service available. Parental controls, network security, and more. It is quite quick. It's been very dependable for us here in the studio. Again, 662-238-3159.
Got a question in the thread about when we're going to do our next Chasing the Ring. I'm going to try to get Carson to do it tomorrow, 5-ish, because he's got a basketball game at 7. So I'm going to try to get him to do it. He gets weird about pregame stuff, so we'll see. Who knows? If not Thursday, we'll get it to you this weekend. But I'm going to try to get him to do it on Thursday. We're brought to you. That show is brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry. Lammon's at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving Oxford area for more than 73 years. Whatever your jewelry need is, whether it's an engagement ring to wedding rings, watches, pearls, whatever, they've got it. They're the gold standard in fine jewelry. They'll take care of you, jewelry repair and more. They're at lammonsfinejewelry.com or 662-234-2777. Also brought to you by Muddy Water Camo, muddywateroutdoors.com. Head there and get yourself that Tri-Zone heated jacket. Don't kid yourself too much. You guys know if you've lived in Mississippi for any length of time or the South for any length of time, and most of you have, there's another cold snap coming. Bet on it. It's going to happen during a baseball series. Let you know. In that soccer tournament that little Jimmy's got, it's going to get cold. So get your Tri-Zone heated jacket. Buy one now. You get one free. Goes right into your cart. Buy a MyCharge portable battery. The other one is free also. Make a great Christmas gift. You could go ahead and store that bad boy in the closet and give it to Uncle Bobby at Christmas time, and you're done in February with that part of your Christmas shopping. So, again, it's muddywateroutdoors.com. Also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. Speaking of changing temperatures, you know how that steel's going to work. You need your heater to work. It's time to start checking that air conditioner and making sure that it's ready to go. Get in touch with the people at Comer, 662-801-1777. They've got more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience in the Oxford, Tupelo, and surrounding areas. So, again, 662-801-1777. And brought to you by the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel Shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram.
I guess it's brought to you by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com is the website. Check out the events page. See what's going on locally every single week. They update it daily, and you can bookmark it and find out what's going on around town, whether you are a resident or just coming into town for maybe a weekend, where to stay, where to eat, what to do, and more, as well as any special events coming to Oxford. So, again, visit oxfordms.com/events. You know, Missouri, kind of here, they're in a weird spot. I'm mostly talking about this because I was on Power Mizzou for a little while last night, reading some of their post-game stuff and just kind of seeing what their mood was because they can't beat Ole Miss. Yeah, I was kind of popcorn a little bit. It was fun. But I like Gabe enough that I don't take a lot of pride in it. Like, there's some boards where it's like, oh, this is great. Like, this is – even like Texas on Monday after – they'd had a crappy week in basketball and everything, and then the baseball team goes 0-3, and that was kind of fun for a little while. It was fun watching Orange Blood's meltdown. But Missouri last night, the AD spoke to the media, right? I forget his name. Spoke to the media right before the game, and he basically said it's getting to that point of Konzo's contract that we're discussing the extension. We'll get it done. We'll whatever. And he had a good year in year one. He's missed the tournament 2 years in a row since then. He's going to get in, but it's going to be a little skin of the teeth. I mean, I've got up their metrics here. They're 47 in the net, but now they're 22 in the RPI. And I get they don't focus on that, but I think they focus on that, if that makes sense. I think you still get it across your eye.
If you're a bubble team, that gets factored in.
Well, their non-conference RPI is 4. Yeah, that does matter.
They played a really good non-conference, and they have some non-conference wins.
Their strength of schedule is 16. Their resume's fine.
They're in the tournament.
But the net's getting weird. You wouldn't want to lose out.
No, who do they have left?
They're supposed to play A&M, but who knows? You don't think that happens. And then they go to Florida.
Well, a loss at Florida won't hurt them.
And then
they get a makeup game. Wonder who their makeup is.
I don't know. And then if scratch happens, they would play like State in the first round in Nashville.
Oof.
And like that could get funny on you. I mean,
it's a weird matchup for them.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, if their net gets down, let's say just for the hell of it, say they lose that makeup game and they lose to State, which is not maybe likely, but it's in the realm. Their net's going to be like 57, and they're going to be 14-10.
That's what I mean.
And 7-10 in the league.
That's why I'm telling you. I think Ole Miss could beat Vandy, Kentucky, and South Carolina and get in.
Now, at the moment, Missouri has 6 net quad 1 wins.
Yes,
6.
Their non-league is going to carry them.
Everybody's wondering what we're talking about. They beat Wichita State. They beat Oregon. They beat a Liberty team. It's not terrible.
I think they beat Illinois too.
They did. Yes, they beat Illinois. Yeah. And Illinois is a 4 net right now. They're number 5 in the country.
Yeah. No, they took care of business early.
Yeah. Oregon 49 in the net. Liberty 91.
What's Wichita State in the net?
69.
What's
They also got Arkansas before Arkansas got hot, so you got that win over the Hogs.
What's Dayton?
Ole Miss, by the way, 2-4 currently in quad 1 games because of the way this thing keeps going all over the place. Dayton is 80.
Yeah,
would have been a nice win.
Would have been a nice win. It's just those losses are. Ugh.
He got out at the right time, and he would have taken any SEC gig, obviously. But since Kermit left, good God, at middle, they suck.
Yeah,
they are 4-13 and 281 in the net.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing, is that in a year like this where some of your games got canceled and moved around and whatever, and like Ole Miss was supposed to go to Florida and play in that tournament, and that got COVIDed out.
Who are they playing?
I can't remember now.
I don't remember either.
But you didn't get to play those games. There's a part of me that thinks if you're a Power 5 team and you can just sort of present an incomplete resume, they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Florida 27 in the net, LSU 29. But anyway, let me finish my Missouri thought. No, all good. They're probably going to get in, but they're bubbly and weird. They lose 5 of their top 7 players at the end of the year. That roster completely overhauls. Given Konzo the extension, he might be fine, might be good, but it's not like they've turned into some basketball power by any stretch of the imagination. They've been very middle of the road in the league. You could get trapped a little bit right here. This is a spot where sometimes you don't have to extend, and it might be better not to. Like, it feels weird right now to really give him some sort of contract extension, unless it's simply a rollover with no change in buyout.
Now, they can't fire him without cause.
I didn't say fire him.
They have like another year before they even legally can.
Correct, yes.
It's that no man's land for ADs. If you extend, you're creating issues on the back end. If you don't extend, you create issues on the front end. Because can he recruit? And then when you say, well, hey, how about let's do this? Let's extend you, but don't change the buyout. And the coach is like,
but what's he going to do, quit?
No.
I mean, ADs don't do that enough, in my opinion.
But you want the coach to be maybe it's changed the buyout.
Whatever.
Nuance it.
Sure.
But like the hardline deal that Ole Miss did with Andy. You had to know Andy as a human being to know he's not going to roll with that.
But ADs make a lot of really stupid contracts.
Sure they do.
That make no sense.
Some chancellors do too.
Amen. Okay. All right. Yeah. They're not immune. I do agree, Adam. I know Kim Anderson was the coach and completely bottomed out the program. I do get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand.
Cratered.
He was a bad hire, okay? I think we can all go down that road.
I don't know what they're going to do. We talked about this. Look, the league's just very mediocre right now.
And frankly, Missouri has a little bit of a – it's almost a negative, as dumb as that sounds. They have this reputation of how they're supposed to be good at basketball. You know what I mean? Like, they came into the league, and it was like, oh, well, they're going to bring some basketball presence from the Big 12 and the whole deal, and it's just kind of been like very.
But look at the basketball league right now.
Yeah.
You got Alabama's 13-1, and they're fine. I've watched them. I'm a big Herb Jones fan. If every team could get him a Herb Jones, every team would be a happier team.
Okay.
There's some good players on that team. They're fast. They're athletic. They'll get after you defensively. They can score. They're good.
Yeah, pretty fun. I like the way they play with tempo.
If you told me that Alabama's a Sweet 16 team, I buy it.
18-5, 13-1.
After that, is there a team in the league that you're sure of making the Sweet 16?
No.
Because now we're talking about Arkansas. And they
LSU, Florida, and Tennessee.
Well, I'm not. I'm out on LSU. I'm out. Last night, out. I'm out. I'm out on them. They're poorly coached. Florida's well coached. Mike's done a great job this year. But I don't trust. I mean,
12-6, 8-5.
At some point, you got to go win games in a tournament setting, and you need a Keontae Johnson to make those buckets. And they don't have him. Thank God he's okay. But
yeah.
And then Arkansas, I want to see them tonight.
Oh, they play tonight?
Alabama at home.
Oh, okay.
Which actually should be a really good game. The fact that nobody even knows it's getting played tells you exactly where college basketball is today. Yeah. And I love college basketball, but I'm just keeping it real.
It's not a talk in the conference at all.
Not a talk about anything, because college basketball is just not a good product on television right now. Look at the game last night. There's all these empty yellow seats on a night when normally Missouri would have had a lot of people there.
Yeah.
But I like Arkansas's team. Got a couple of veteran guards. The Moody kid's a top 10 pick and starting to play like one, which is what's interesting. Vanover, the big center, is a skilled player. Everyone just looks at him and assumes because he's this big, tall, skinny, lanky white kid that he can't do anything. No, he's pretty skilled. And he's a smart player, and he gives them some things. They're good. They're good. And Musselman's a weird cat, but teams play hard. His teams play hard, and they'll get after you defensively. So if you told me Arkansas made the Sweet 16, I wouldn't be surprised. And if you told me they lost in the first round by 7 points, I wouldn't be surprised. But if you told me they made the Sweet 16, I'd go, okay, I see it. That's it. I'm done. Not Tennessee. Nope.
Nah,
I'm out. Not Missouri.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, frankly, if you told me a third SEC team went to the Sweet 16, I'd go, oh, well, Kentucky got in, huh? Because they're athletic and they have players who can make plays and stuff. That's it. So you can't turn that around and go, boy, this league is so good, man.
The quality of the league is nobody really sucks but Vanderbilt.
Grind says, if you told me Alabama was a Sweet 16 team, I'd shoot you. I'll avoid you in March then, Grind, because I'm a little –
I think they're headed that way.
I think they have a real shot.
No, Kentucky could win the SEC championship, no doubt. Sure.
Well, sure, because some of these teams are going to get to Nashville and go, let's get out of here. I mean, if you're Nate Oates, do you really want to run the risk of having a couple injuries in Nashville?
Because they're at 2 right now?
They're at 2. Probably can't get to 1. Probably can't fall lower than 3. And the only difference between a 2 and a 3 is that the 3, if you play in that 2-3 Sweet 16 game, you're going to wear red instead of white.
Yeah. Okay.
So unless that means a lot to you, what difference does it make?
Kentucky got left. Ole Miss and who?
Florida, I think. They have a schedule in front of them, and then I don't know who their makeup game would be.
Yeah, it's Florida. Well, their only postponement to this point is A&M. But
A&M can't play everybody. They might not play anybody.
A&M has postponed 5 games in a row.
Yeah, and Gabe was saying, because they're supposed to play Missouri on Saturday, and Gabe was saying Missouri's worried about it.
After 5?
Yeah, and see, if I'm Missouri, I'm like, okay, look, if you're not coming, we need to call like Missouri State or somebody.
Got to play somebody.
And get somebody to come in here because we just need the win.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a problem.
All right, so
They've been off 25 days in a row. What?
So Laura sent me a screenshot of something.
Okay, did Ross announce it? Is that right?
I don't know. I'd love to see a little more confirmation of that. Although I do think the day is coming. So the screenshot is of someone saying Texas A&M is announcing that they're planning on full stadium, full student section, and the band on the field this fall. I have not seen that anywhere else, but now in fairness, I've not gone searching for it since we hit the record button because I was trying to be dialed in on a podcast. Do you see that anywhere else?
So 20 hours ago, he was on Feinbaum, and he said he emphasized the importance of having clarity and a plan moving forward to begin hosting visitors and their families after the dead period.
The dead period, by the way, extended through the end of May.
Correct. I'm looking. Okay, so all right, here we go. This is from the Eagle, which is the Bryan Eagle, the newspaper.
Okay.
I'm going to click the link in a second, but the tweet says Texas A&M officials are planning for a full Kyle Field for the 2021 football season. Aggie Athletics Director Ross Bjork said Tuesday on his monthly Town Hall Facebook Live. I'm pulling up the article now.
Okay.
All right, this is from the Eagle. Again, this is a reputable news source. This is the local paper.
They do a good job.
Station.
They do a good job.
Texas A&M officials are planning for a full Kyle Field for the 2021 football season. Athletic Director, what I said. Quote, our approach as we sit here today on February the 23rd is that we will operate at full capacity, that we'll have full stadiums, we'll have the full experience, we'll have the Aggie band back on the field, we'll do all the things we normally do. Last fall, Kyle Field was at 25%, blah, blah, blah.
25.
25. That was maybe the best SEC Shorts line of the year is when they were he was doing the speed dating with the playoff or whatever, and he goes, I mean, we really got a lot from our 25% capacity.
Well, I like to make fun of A&M, but I'm going to give them that. They were the one that just went, hey, middle fingers.
Yeah, prove it. 25%.
Yeah.
Looks good. Let's see. Yeah, this is good. 4 of the top 5 highest attended football games last season were Aggie home games, led by 27,000 for Halloween night matchup against Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Over the summer, Abbott mandated all events had to have maximum of 50, though all venues in the state operated at a margin less than that plateau. He wouldn't say that masks wouldn't have to be worn, though. Says there may be protocols, maybe wearing face coverings. We don't know all those answers yet. That's the plan as we see here today. Full stadium, full season ticket allotment, 12-man student section full. People are going to be vaccinated at a really, really high level. That's all the projections, right? The whole herd immunity, all those things, we should be in a much better place.
Well, good for us. People need to start saying these words.
He's doing basically what Sankey did. He comes in the bottom and goes, if we have to pivot, sure, but that's where we're at.
Isn't it amazing that they feel that you just have to say that?
There's the cat, yeah.
Oh, and that is hey, before you guys lose your mind on social media, ask me how I know. I'll leave the out. So Ole Miss announced yesterday.
Yeah, let's.
Ready to go there? You want to pay a bill first?
Yeah, I'd like to pay a bill, and then we'll do that, so I don't have to stop 90 seconds into it. Tell you about community mortgage, and frankly, if all the stadiums open up, more people come to town, more mortgages going on as well, because it all is connected here locally in Oxford. Community mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting, understands your market, a leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in multiple states, advisors in multiple states as well. You guys know how this works. By now, you watch the markets. They go up and down, up and down, up and down. People talk about Bitcoin, whether you should jump into Bitcoin, whether you shouldn't jump into Bitcoin, all of those things. You want a professional managing your savings and retirement plans. So get in touch with Pinnacle Trust. They'll do that for you. They'll build a plan that's made just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Tell them that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the Oxford Exxon Podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fees. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Right now, there are great travel deals to some of these wide open places like Florida, golf deals. You want to go play at Stream Song or places like that, there are great deals to be had. Get in touch with someone like John. Actually, just get in touch with John. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. Just give him some parameters and a budget. He'll give you options that you will not find on your own. And you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. Also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And we're brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB also has a commercial checking account, now paying 1% interest as long as you keep $10,000 in the account. It comes with fully interactive online banking. They can set up any local business to deposit checks from their office and not have to worry with coming to the bank daily to deposit those checks. To learn more about that, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And I've got a mailbag up at rebelgrove.com. A couple of hot takes in that mailbag that I've already heard people frustrated about. One's about Elvis Presley. You can read it.
Oh.
It's rebelgrove.com. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844.
So we're going to go on that topic. I need 30 seconds here. I had Arkansas State's coaching staff still pulled up from earlier, and I saw that their pitching coach's name is Rowdy Hardy. Somebody sounds like they played at Mississippi State. I just clicked on his name because I thought that's really weird. So I went down to the bottom. He has a daughter named Ripken and a son named Inning. Baseball guy.
He likes baseball.
Baseball guy right there with him. So I saw he played at Austin P in 2004, 2006. This is how my brain works. I'm getting to a point.
Okay.
So I thought, 2004, 2006. And in my mind, small school, 2004, I went to Grady Henchman, the Western Kentucky pitcher that beat Ole Miss 1-0 in the 2004 regional. Sorry, whatever.
Okay.
Baseball people know who I'm talking about. I Googled him because I was curious where Grady Henchman was now. He's the managing partner of a trampoline park in Tampa, Florida. So the guy that beat Ole Miss 15 years ago that maybe gave Mike one of the worst losses of his career, he is a manager of like one of those altitude amusement bounce houses in Tampa, Florida now. So anyway, that's what I did while you were reading, paying bills. All right, go ahead. Anyway.
So Ole Miss and
yeah, whatever.
That's the show for today. Ole Miss announced yesterday that the Grove Bowl will be April the 24th.
They did.
4 o'clock. They announced that spring football practice will begin on March the 23rd. That's significant to the hardcores. The big news was the April 24th.
Mm-hmm.
Not to belittle spring football. We'll talk about spring football. We'll cover spring football at rebelgrove.com, all that stuff. But we always like to talk about the stories that appeal to the masses. And the masses, the story is April 24th. That's a Saturday, obviously. LSU is in town to play baseball that weekend. It's the schedule. It's 2 months away, literally to the date from today. Today's February the 24th, so April the 24th is in 2 months. At the current vaccination rate, what are we saying in Mississippi is getting vaccinated today? Is there a number?
There is. I don't remember it, but it's a lot. They've seemed pretty efficient. They appear to be doing a pretty good job of getting people through the turnstiles, best
so
I can tell.
Multiply that by 60.
Yeah.
60 days.
Sure.
Ole Miss said in the announcement, to their credit, they didn't say anything they couldn't say. I thought it was interesting that they said announcement.
Attendance policies to come in the coming days or something like that.
Yeah. Which was, I'll give them credit. I kind of thought it was sort of cryptic in a positive way, because if you know now that you're not going to allow fans in the stands, that you're not going to allow fans to be on campus, to all that stuff, you go ahead and say it. You take your beating now and get it over with. I mean, that's the smart PR. But if you think, you know what, I think we're going to be able to do a little bit more, or a lot bit more, You put that out there. And then I told you yesterday, we were talking on the phone, if I'm a merchant in this town, I'm turning the heat up.
That's the day.
I'm going, okay, all right. By then we will have played along with this for 13 and a half months. We will have run a lot of people out of business, cost a lot of people a lot of money, a lot of jobs. That's the date. We were told this was all about you can't overrun the healthcare system. Well, you didn't. It's not overrun right now. You can feel free to tell me I'm wrong. But if you told me today that the weather was quasi-decent on April the 24th, okay?
Usually is.
I would tell you that given the excitement about football, that I think you could charge $20 a ticket for admission and halfway fill up Vaught Hemingway. Most years you can't. Most years people don't give a damn about a spring game, and spring games are boring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's not make a spring game something that a spring game's not. But if you're having a spring game, and Ole Miss announced that it was, it stands to reason that you're planning to have fans in the stands. Because any coach in America, and I know a lot of coaches, there's not a coach in America who would go, well, we can't have fans, but let's play a spring game anyway. They'd be like, are you kidding?
Well, but even beyond that, it's not just that they announced a spring game. It's that they announced a spring game as part of Grove Bowl weekend.
Right. Right. Which brings me to my next point. I asked you yesterday, how many people can you physically cram into Swayze?
12,000 and change.
There is a limit to how many human beings you can put into a place.
There are.
So let's call it 12,500 for kicks and giggles.
Sure.
Given the excitement around this baseball team, given the fact that people haven't been able to do anything for 13 and a half months, I feel safe in saying you could put 12,000 plus at Swayze Friday and Saturday and maybe even Sunday.
And let me interject real quick. You mentioned that paragraph in that press release. The other part that I found interesting wasn't, it didn't just say attendance. It said the attendance plan for the game, quote, and other festivities will be announced in the weeks ahead. Well, I don't think that could possibly mean, hey, we're going to have some virtual concerts. I mean, to me, that means you have to have some events, some things. And, I mean, we're kind of burying the lead a little bit. And I don't know. I don't have a ton of sourcing. I mean, I know people, but I don't have a ton of sourcing in the governor's office or anything. There's a very strong rumor or indication right now that some of these things are going to be relaxed here in the coming days. People keep pointing to next week.
Next Wednesday specifically.
When the executive order expires that is currently in place, that the rumor mill is saying that Tate Reeves is going to relax some of the current COVID stipulations. So
Which is another reason that I don't know why Double Decker got canceled back then.
My point is I think all this is connected. I don't know this again. I haven't not talked to Keith about this at all. I guess I can, but I haven't. My gut tells me that they are hearing some of the same things, that the state is likely to change policies. Now, they need the SEC to play along. That's the other catch in this, is right now the SEC has a 25% attendance policy too.
Yep.
That's got to change. But I'm wondering if, as these executive orders change, they're hearing that, and that allows them to proceed, not where they're not going as far as we talked about and how we believe they should be right now with boys in the Lyceum, not Keith, of being proactive. But I do believe they are being as positively reactive as possible, if that makes sense. It's the middle of the three tiers you can be.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's all the athletic department can do. Again, it's a Lyceum thing, not an athletic department thing. Beyond that.
I do think you got to start doing what apparently Ross did.
This one?
You got to say the words. You got to say the words. Go ahead and start the fight now, because it's going to be a fight. I mean, I wish – I told you this yesterday. It's one of the things that kind of boggles my brain a little bit. Ole Miss and Mississippi State have this big rivalry and stuff, but the last time that the two athletic departments, the two universities got together on the same page and worked for the same goal, they got a flag changed. That was the unreported part of the story. They put those two –
Colin Hill got involved in it.
I realize Colin Hill woke up one morning and called from his apartment, and that changed the course of history. Excluding Kylan's heroic efforts, Ole Miss and Mississippi State put its collective muscle together and got it done. What would happen if Ole Miss and Mississippi State both started pushing for 75% attendance, for 100% attendance at an outdoor venue? I mean, basketball season's basically over in a week.
Only one game left at home.
Yeah. One.
Two,
Yeah.
maybe the makeup. Yeah.
But a week. So you got time for the next basketball cycle to roll around. Why are you limiting soccer attendance at Ole Miss and State? Why aren't you pushing back on that? Because I'd push back on that publicly. I keep waiting for universities to say, "Hey, we're going to go full in person in the fall." That's the plan. That's plan A. That's plan B. That's plan C. And if we get to plan D, it's going to mean things got really bad in our country. Our plan is to get back to normal. Can you imagine how well that would be received at School X?
And look, this isn't, people take some nuance here. This doesn't mean everybody. This doesn't even mean a majority. Some of the problem that's going on right now from that standpoint is that, and it's not just Ole Miss, it's a lot of universities. When they put the first policies in place, they told the professors, hey, kind of pick your thing. Now, you can't change it, but pick it. A lot of teachers like virtual, so they're pushing to stay hybrid and virtual and going down that path and kind of using it as I kind of like staying in my pajamas from 8 to 11 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And
I kind of like taking one day and taping a semester's worth of lectures and being done for the semester.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are law school professors at different places that have literally their lectures are taped.
Really?
Yes.
So you just watch like the hour or the whatever. And that's some bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. You're giving, it went from a health thing to a convenience thing, and now you're giving them way too much power.
You can take it back.
You can.
It'll take some intestinal fortitude.
Yeah. Some hellfire for a day or two.
Maybe a little testicular fortitude, if you will. But you can say it. Hey, we're going back to in-person, and we expect you to teach in person unless you can produce a medical reason not to.
Are you worried about the SEC not changing its policies even if the states open things up?
No, because of things.
You think they'll give leeway?
Because of things that I've heard pretty high up on what the true feelings are of people inside that building.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
They'll allow that to take precedence?
Look, there's real pressure to look concerned.
Well, but my point is Abbott in Texas said 50%, yet A&M was at 25% because of the SEC.
I know.
Makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, it does me too, but I don't think so. I mean, there's too much money at stake. But at some point, you've got to have people that go, hey, we can't do it like this anymore. You got to have administrators.
Well, because as soon as Wednesday comes, and let's just hypothetically say Tate Reeves does open it up to 50%. Goes, hey, outdoor venues, 50%. Okay, fine, whatever. That is where Boyce has got to go publicly and go, hey, our epidemiologist says we can do this, so why are we not doing this or whatever? Yeah, shut up. But you know what I mean? Like, which one are you? We're doing a Boyce or a Dobbs thing? What are we doing?
Boyce?
Oh, okay. Tomato. I didn't know what you were doing. I mean, I get it's his one public appearance of the year, but still, like that would be the thing is if you come out and you.
Boyce.
It's amazing. Like for a while, we talked about him every single day.
Is he the IHL guy?
Well, in theory, yes. That's commissioner, I believe, was the term.
No, it's time for him to stand up.
Yeah,
it's time for him and the guy at Mississippi State, Keenum, to stand up together like they did the last time and say we need to do this. It's time for the mayors of towns like these to stand up. And I'm not calling out Robin at all. Robin's under a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of people that have stayed on her, and I know this is more than she ever bargained for. But at some point, you got to stand up for the town that you live in and the town that you fight for and say, we've got to open up. We've got to be able to do these things. Because if you're a hotel owner in this town, April the 24th, there's no reason for you not to be full, man. You got to start making money. I mean, how do you at Ole Miss, I'm just using Ole Miss as the example because that's who we're talking about, but this applies across the Southeast. How do you justify, well, we could have 12,000 in the stands on Friday night for Ole Miss LSU, but we're going to hold it to 2,200? Based on what? What is the science that justifies the 9,800 people you're going to turn away? And I'll bust out my trusty calculator. Give me a number. Give me a number on what an average ticket cost. Plus, let's say that they go get them. They're going to get a hamburger and a bag of chips and
go all in. Let's call it $30.
$30.
League game, hot dog, and a pop.
It's $294,000. You're leaving on the table. So
over what period of time?
One night.
Oh shit. Because that's like the 9,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
9,800 times 30. So multiply that times 2.8, because we'll say Sunday if some people go home.
Yeah, sure.
It's $823,200
a weekend
for one weekend of college baseball. Keeping in mind that the team still traveled to Texas last week and they stayed in hotels and they ate food and stuff.
There was a cost to that.
I'm going to guess that wasn't free.
Yeah. They chartered a flight.
Did they use green energy? Tell me they did, please.
Sun Country, so maybe it was solar.
Okay, good. Solar play.
Yeah. Well, State, I guess, paid for half of it, I guess. I don't know. I think both teams flew back into Tupelo, by the way, together, and then they went their separate directions.
State probably had some sort of an agricultural fuel that they used that was clean.
A rural development deal?
Yeah, I mean, I would think. No, seriously, it's $823,000. Now, do the local impact.
Oh, that is immeasurable.
So, I mean, how many people are coming up for a football weekend like that? Not everybody can get into Swayze. So some people aren't going to be able to get into Swayze, which means some people might go shopping instead. Might go to a bar. Might go to our friends at Rafters. Seriously. Our buddy Lee Harris at Funky's. You think he wants the crowds? I guarantee you Hudson wants crowds.
Mm-hmm.
Been hurt. How do you justify it? That's what I'm waiting for people to go, hey, why? Because we understood 11 months ago why. I don't understand 11 months later why.
State does make really good cheese. I'll give them that. Cheese is impeccable.
It is good cheese.
It's incredible. It's good.
We have a family friend that gives us that cheese typically for Christmas time.
Really? Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Like sliced on a burger, melted.
Oh, really?
It's fantastic. It's great.
They're great. Their ice cream's overrated, but their cheese is good.
Yeah, I know this is.
But you're not a huge ice cream person.
I'm not a huge ice
anyway.
cream person anyway, but their cheese is great.
I'm weird enough that I'd rather have frozen yogurt than ice cream.
I'm with you.
There's no doubt. If I can doctor up my yogurt and do my little deal, I'd rather have the frozen yogurt than the ice cream.
I'm with you completely. I don't think that's
I don't need like gummy worms or anything on it, but just, a couple things.
No, what's really good is the plain flavor.
Just vanilla?
It's not really vanilla. It's that tart kind of flavor.
Oh, yeah, it's got the little, yeah.
And with like crushed Butterfinger or Reese's Pieces. Oh, it's fantastic.
Okay. The Butterfinger gets my teeth. Drives me insane.
They make toothbrushes.
It drives me insane until I can get to a toothbrush. Yeah, I don't like it. I stay away from, I never have one, but I would stay away from a Butterfinger Blast for the same reason. I would pick some other topping instead of Butterfinger because it just...
You carry a toothbrush in your bag like when you go to games?
No.
Really?
I'll brush them as I get home, but no, I don't have one in my bag. And it's interesting you say that because I've got pretty much everything else. I basically have like a Swiss Army knife kind of bag together, but...
I always have a toothbrush and one of those little toothpicks.
Do you really?
In
I have floss.
in my carry-on bag. Yeah.
I do have floss. But I don't eat at games much, so it's not kind of a different deal. The last time I've been to a game. I'm going today to see kind of some peripheral things is more the reason, but it's my first game I've been to of any sport since Ole Miss played Princeton in baseball last March or February, whenever it was.
I've only been to the one game in Fayetteville. That's it.
Yeah, so I haven't.
Prepare to be a little depressed.
Really?
Yeah, it hits you a little bit.
I won't notice it as much today, I don't think, because the crowd would be light anyway. You know what I mean? Like a Tuesday, you're not going to pick it up as much.
On a day like today?
Well, that's true. It's pretty nice outside, and then students would be in full force today.
Of course. 4 o'clock?
Yeah, that's true. I have a home bag and an away bag, too, because I know what to expect at home versus away.
The away bag's gray and the home bag is white with stripes.
Yeah. But there's like crazy stuff like surge protectors and stuff in the away bag that I just.
Do you have an alternate bag? Like for.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, like a third bag?
A third bag, yeah. A Sunday bag.
A powder blue
yeah,
bag?
Yeah. It's a Sunday bag. Podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. They offer MedSync to fill your prescriptions same day each month and take care of you, whether it's one delivery or one time and one trip to the pharmacy. They will have everything you need on that one day. And they also offer Right Way Meds because they individually package your medication to take care of you in that way. That can save a life if it's a person who really needs a little extra help to get the medicine they need when they need it. Again, 662-236-2222.
We're also brought to you by Bain, Moss & Bowen. They're located in historic downtown Corinth, Mississippi. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss & Bowen's the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. That experience is unmatched, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620. Also brought to you by Alpha Specialties, located at 1670 Highway 80 in Pearl, Mississippi. Alpha is your trailer-specific professional. If you want to haul it, they can call it. Alpha's the premium trailer dealership in Mississippi. They've got Load Trail. It's the premium brand trailer, the highest quality utility equipment dump and gooseneck trailer being built today. They also have Hallmark cargo trailers, one of the most quality cargo trailers on the market. Perfect for hauling goods to markets and shows, ATVs to deer camp, hauling race cars, and more. Alpha can even work with third parties to have game day trailers and concession trailers built. For podcast listeners, Alpha has spare tires and wheels starting at just $100, a full selection of trailer parts and accessories, hitches, winches, straps, and more. They also do all types of truck accessories. Listeners can also get 10% off, not 100%, good grief, 10% off a yearly trailer service and inspection at Alpha's full service shop. That's okay. I had to screw up here. They can also repair all types of trailers, concession, horse, utility, enclosed, gooseneck, and RV. It's alphaofms.com or 601-932-9798. And we're brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. They make the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, and hand-tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi. One size fits one at BlueDeltaJeans.com. Blue Delta's been advertising with us for the past 2 years. At Blue Delta, we've always directed you to DM them to set up a time to get measured. But now, whether you're coming to Oxford or not, you can visit BlueDeltaJeans.com to get measured by their new virtual tailor and design your own jeans. And just for our podcast listeners, enter the discount code Rebel Grove. That's all lowercase, one word, Rebel Grove, at checkout and get 10% off your order. They're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. You'll feel the same way too. And we're brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue is your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylist hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, there's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, Duckhead, and more. 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or at therogue.com.
So a couple things here, and then I've got a question. The first one is, I'm seeing here from... this is today. Hold on, pull back up. I had to do an ad blocker because I don't want to see the ads. February 24th, USA Today. They just said 3 years before LSU fired him, head coach Les Miles weathered an internal investigation into allegations he sexually harassed student workers and made sexist comments about others. USA Today has learned. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not even really going to get into it, but that is there on the site. Came out overnight. Some of Tiger Woods' injuries. Safe to say, golf career has got to be over at this point. You would think.
I would think.
He has a tibia that was broken in more than 2 places.
Mm-hmm.
They used a medical term that I cannot remember off the top of my head, but essentially it could be 3 places or it could be shattered into hundreds of pieces. They didn't specify. It just means more than 2, meaning it's not one clean break. It's a very complicated break. And it also punctured the skin into an open fracture in multiple spots at the same time.
The lower leg was
mangled.
My understanding.
Yeah, it's the tibia and fibia.
Yeah.
The femur would have hurt like hell and been a bigger deal. But nonetheless, the tibia and the fibia There was basically some ankle dislocations. It was a huge problem. They
some crushing of a foot.
Well, they also said that they had to do the thing, I forget what it's called, where they cut the leg open to relieve the pressure because swelling was so bad that they could have lost the leg immediately. So they had to basically had to lance and cut his leg all the way down and leave it open to make sure it doesn't swell and the blood causes.
At the scene.
No, still now. I believe it's still like but yes, at the scene, correct, yes.
Oh.
I mean, in some ways, frankly, he's lucky. Well, he's lucky to be alive. Two, from the crash. Two, lucky to be alive from the standpoint of he was near the UCLA Medical Center, which is a level 1 trauma center because you get to place quickly. Who knows how to take care of you? And frankly, three, everybody knew who it was, and law enforcement and medical personnel moved incredibly quickly at that point. Not saying anybody wouldn't have gotten the same care, but you know what I mean. So yeah, it required the opening of the leg to reduce swelling as well as multiple crush injuries.
That happened to Alex Smith too. They had to open his.
And they said this was far worse. Essentially, was what I've been told. Yeah, bad. There's still some worry that. I mean, he's. I changed my words because I didn't want to use a pun because it sounds like I was going to say out of the woods, but. He still could set up infections and different things. It's not completely over as far as what his health will be in the next few days.
Right. With the leg or with his full body?
With the leg is the way I understand it, but I mean obviously you can't get sepsis or something.
Right.
I mean I don't know exactly how severe or how quickly that could happen, but he put out his team put out a statement last night. Said, "We thank everyone for the overwhelming support and messages during this tough time. As previously communicated, Tiger was involved, blah, blah, blah." I'll make it down. Mr. Woods suffered significant orthopedic injuries to his right lower extremity that were treated during emergency surgery by orthopedic trauma specialist at Harbor UCLA Medical Center, a level 1 trauma center. Comminuted open fractures, meaning more than 2, affecting both the upper and lower portions of the tibia and fibula bones were stabilized by inserting a rod into the tibia. Additional injuries to the bones of the foot and ankle were stabilized with a combination of screws and pins. Trauma to the muscle and soft tissue of the leg required a surgical release of the covering of the muscles to relieve pressure due to swelling, meaning they took a knife and literally cut his leg open. That comes from the chief medical officer and interim CEO at Harbor UCLA Medical Center.
I can't even imagine the pain. I can't even fathom.
You have to hope his adrenaline was going as high as humanly freaking possible.
I don't know if you watched the press conference with the law enforcement.
I never actually watched it, no.
The officer that was first on
Gonzalez was his
Carlos
name.
Gonzalez was really impressive young man. Was able to obviously did the press conference in English and then he turned around and did it in Spanish for the
oh really?
Spanish speaking media outlets. Okay. He was really impressive. He said he was able to communicate with him pretty consistently, and he kind of referenced that, not talking about Tiger specifically, but just in general. That wasn't the first automobile accident he's worked, obviously. He said that sometimes people don't realize how bad it is or are unaware of how bad it is because they're sort of in shock. Mm-hmm. And like you said, that adrenaline's coursing.
Saving your body a little bit, yeah.
I did gather from listening to some of the press conferences that he was eventually in the type of pain that you would anticipate.
Well, because it took so long to get him out. They had to use an axe to extricate him from the vehicle. Oh. And at some point, you're just stuck. So, yeah, there's a certain time period where that becomes a thing. Had a seatbelt on. Look, it was justified why everybody thought it yesterday. There was no impairment whatsoever. However, he was just running late. Multiple witnesses saw him getting agitated, leaving his hotel about 10 minutes before the crash, 15 minutes before the crash. He was supposed to be at a country club filming a shot of giving Justin Herbert and Drew Brees golf lessons. And
he was hurrying.
Yeah, he was supposed to be there in 30 minutes, and he was an hour away from the course. So he was running a half hour late. They said he was trying to get out of the parking lot at his hotel as fast as possible, and he simply got to a part of the road and lost control and flipped his vehicle from a speeding situation. TMZ had video of from traffic cams of his car about 3 minutes prior to the wreck from another part of that highway.
Moving.
Yeah. So it was simply a single car wreck due to excessive speed, it appears.
We're laughing at. We're not laughing about Tiger Woods before anybody that's listening out there thinks
our stream. Sorry,
our stream is. Yeah, jeez.
Yeah,
that's unreal.
Oh, I mean,
I was
talking to a couple people last night. I mean, because we're still so conditioned from this time last year, just being alive. I mean, after the Kobe thing.
Well, he's really fortunate to be alive, and the sheriff said that last night, based on the way that wreck occurred. He just was being very frank about it. Said that Mr. Woods is very lucky to be alive. That Carlos Gonzalez said it speaks, and it does. It speaks volumes to the way cars are made today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
because the car did its job, the engine got away from him. Like that's how that worked. Everybody goes, "Oh God, the engine was out." No, that's the way that's supposed to happen. Like they build them that way.
No, the car did what. It's one of the reasons you want smart people building cars. You want. You don't. We've talked about this before. People complain about how much money surgeons make until it's you or your loved one that needs the surgery. At which point you don't care how much money the surgeon makes.
So you've always given that bit. You're fine with the surgeon walking in the $4,000 cowboy boots and going, "Yep, all right."
Well, I mean, my dad had to have a triple or quadruple bypass, and he had a episode, and they took him up there, and we were all scared, of course. And we're up in Memphis, and guy comes in, got his surgical stuff on, but he's got boots on. Short little guy, kind of. And he comes over to us, and he goes, "Don't worry about it. He's fine. I'm really good at this."
Okay.
All right. And next day, he does the surgery. And, my dad's in the post-surgery, and he's got the thing on, and he looks like hell, and all the stuff's on.
It's one of the worst a person can look and still be.
Yeah, and you're thinking, "Oh, it went terrible." And he comes in and goes, "Went great. It's going to be fine. I'm good at this." And I remember thinking to myself, I don't give a damn how much money you make.
Yeah.
In fact, I hope you're going home tonight to drink a $700 bottle of wine. I do.
Yeah.
I hope you're going home tonight, and I hope there's a butler that opens the door for you, because you got to be special to be that way and to be that good and to do a job that, not like us talking about a podcast, we don't affect anything. That guy's saving lives.
No, you wouldn't be. You don't want him to walk in sheepishly and go,
like
"I'm going to give a shot."
Like the commercial where he goes, "Hey, we'll get through this together, maybe." No, I mean, I want the surgeon that goes, "I got it.
Yeah,
I got it. That's what I do."
Yeah.
This is why I live in a bigger house than you live in. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And I know that's not PC and stuff, but that's what you want. You want the smart.
Look, the dude who finished dead last in medical school might be a doctor, but I don't want him to be my surgeon.
No, and the dude that's at the top of his engineering school is the one that I want engineering the cars.
Yeah.
Because when one of my little girls is in an accident, I want that smart dude to have made the car that protects my daughter.
Yeah.
I don't want us cutting.
Well, it's like I saw on the board yesterday. It was like, "Oh, that's not good for the genesis of being, the car associated." It was like, no, it's great. He survived. The car did its job. That's exactly.
The people that engineered and specified the car did their job, because they're really good at math and stuff. I mean, you want smart people.
Some physics was involved here. Some stuff happened.
Yeah, the dude that made that car, the woman that made that car, wasn't the one that went, I just can't do this math. This math thing is just over my head. No. Those are the people that their idea of fun is doing math. Like I told you, I got this really complex economics question that you could have given you and me combined. We're both fairly smart people. We could have given you and me combined a month, and we would not have gotten it. I sent it to my friend Josh Hendrickson at Ole Miss, the economics professor. About 30 minutes later, sent the whole thing back.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. And I'm like, see, it's equity and equality are not the same thing.
No.
We want equality. Everyone wants equality.
Sure.
But everybody's not made the same. I mean, it doesn't matter how hard I go out and work on my jump shot, right? I can go work on a jump shot starting at the age of 10 for 20 straight years, nonstop doing nothing else, and I'm not going to be an NBA player.
You would maximize your skill set. Quote, your skill set.
And I'm a better, when I say this, I don't mean in journalism, right? But I can sit down and write an essay in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. That might take somebody else 3 days. People have different skill sets, and skill sets that matter, like being able to perform a surgery. I don't have any problem with compensating those people because I want them to be incentivized to do those jobs. And for the most part, people are incentivized by money.
Typically, yeah.
As a rule.
You can read Neal's mailbag. He criticized Elvis Presley.
Just said he's overrated. That's it.
Said he's one of the worst musicians to ever live.
As a musician, he was pretty average.
Not my jam. I mean,
who's more talented, Elvis or Prince?
Oh, Prince is more talented.
Not even close.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna do the Elvis thing, you got to start putting Prince up in like.
And I don't know this. I'm asking. And I know there's a segment that is going to go, no, he's most talented, whatever. But is the fame and the way history has portrayed, is it actual talent or is it just the elevation of the genre and the things that are in general?
It's the genre, it's the timing and stuff. It's when you come around. Who else is out there? It's that sure. He did something at the time that nobody else was doing.
I mean, kind of what Michael Jackson did, and he was good. I mean, it's kind of a similar deal.
But when people talk about Elvis the musician, I mean, he didn't write his own songs. He was kind of, frankly, one of the first sort of canned stars.
Mm-hmm. Today, it'd be like the synthesizers and the whole deal. And
Yeah. A boy band.
Daniel Kodak goes, I remember listening to a podcast, and the hosts were asked if they could build a boat to take them across the Pacific with the current knowledge they had, and they pretty much said no. Hell no.
No
shot in hell.
No. So when you get on that boat,
yeah,
you want somebody that knows what they were doing.
I mean, I might can build like the Ralph from Castaway, but that's probably about as much as I can do.
Yeah.
I mean, he got a long way on his.
He did.
He made it.
He did.
Made his future wife by not opening the package.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's really remarkable. It's a story that you wouldn't believe if it weren't in the movie theater.
Told you, I crack up every damn time when he gets back to the buffet and gets home and he picks up the crab leg and goes,
no, yeah.
Can't help it. Oh, God.
Oh.
So, whatever. So mailbag's there. There's stuff in it. I don't know. I feel like we had more topics, but we've been going a long time.
We're done.
Yeah, show tomorrow night. We'll be with you for whatever we'll be on or doing. I don't know. We'll see. But nonetheless, Ole Miss, Arkansas State. Anybody, this is more for people in the stream because we'll listen to the podcast and get to this point prior to first pitch. 4 o'clock today for that one. Ole Miss and Vanderbilt Saturday from Nashville, and then Ole Miss probably with a couple of home games next week. At least Kentucky in the midweek, and then probably South Carolina on Saturday is the way it's looking. So we'll have coverage of all that and more at rebelgrove.com. Be with you tomorrow. Stay safe. Enjoy the nice day. Talk to you then.